This is how we got our training wheels to learn how to do landers. NASA's really good at doing spacecraft and startup companies. How do you learn? We were able to partner with NASA down at NASA Ames. This vehicle had been created through a government program, and we were able to invest in that program and learn how to fly this vehicle. So what we're seeing is a vehicle in a building in a net, and that's how we learn how to fly landers.
What are we seeing here? What is this big contraption?
So as we climbed the capability ladder, we had to come up with our own propulsion systems. We're looking at our very first, spacecraft in a garage type tests.
Got it. And what is that? Is it just blowing air? Is that
what we're looking at is hydrogen peroxide-powered rocket engines. And now we're looking at the Mighty Eagle, which is at the Marshall Space Flight Center. So now we're in Huntsville, Rocket City. And we got our license to fly by flying this vehicle. The reason that you're not seeing any exhaust is it's superheated steam. Hydrogen peroxide, H2O2, decomposing into steam. So we're building steam engines to go to the moon.
Got it. And these things seem to be floating, basically, like levitating almost. But
they look like it.
They look like because you don't see any thrust.
Invisible, right? But it's not. If you heard the audio, it would be very loud because there's lots of propulsion coming out of those engines.
Interesting.
And we're seeing this thing coming down out of the sky. The goal is to land right side up and to land softly.
Now wait, is this and I see that you have like a little fake moon there with craters and rocks, so you're teaching it how to land.
It's a robot that needs to fly through space and land on the moon all by itself, right? Nobody's going to be there to take over the controls. There's no Neil Armstrong. Right. So it has to have the visual acuity, all the sensors. It has to recognize hazards like rocks and slopes.
Got it. So when it starts coming down into the moon's, I guess there's no atmosphere, but in the moon's orbit, when it starts to come down to land on the moon,
you're in space even when you're on the moon, you're still in space.
Still in space.
So there's
no atmosphere.
You can't use moon parachutes. Will not work.
Yeah.
So you have to use rockets all the way down to the surface. And as we see, this is what you have to do. You have to slowly and just sort of kiss the moon after traveling 250,000 miles.
Hey. Stupid question from a non-space guy. What happens if it hits the top of a boulder and it makes a mistake? It starts rolling down. Is that a game over for your...
Well, you want to try to avoid that. That would really suck. That's a technical term in the space industry.
Yes.
So what you want to have is hazard avoidance intelligence on the robot. So it's robotic eyes, 3D scanning, be able to recognize boulders, slopes, and
but if it misses and it makes a mistake, you're screwed.
Well, not necessarily. So
you got a robot that can't move.
So the goal is to land on the moon softly, and for the robot to say, "I'm here," and then the champagne pops and everybody cheers.
Got it.
But even if we're the first private sector company to touch the moon, even if it's hard, we're going to learn a lot, and we'll try it again.
Hey, everybody, I want to take a moment to tell you about retargeting. This is a very, very important thing for startups to understand because customer acquisition is what it's all about, and AdRoll is the best retargeting platform on the planet. Over 25,000 advertisers use it. And I want to tell you today about a new product they have. It's called SendRoll. No, it's not sending to get your rolls and buttered rolls. No. This is about email, and SendRoll lets you get all those people who are window shoppers, people who are checking out your website, and then you can convert them into buyers, which is what you want, getting them to sign up for your product or service by email. So imagine they visit your site, but then they get an email follow-up. SendRoll is powerful retargeting tech plus effective emails, and the results have been spectacular. The average SendRoll gets a 45 to 60% open rate and a 10 to 20% click-through. And I can tell you, running inside.com, that is probably 4 times the industry average. And it's so easy to set up a SendRoll campaign. It just takes minutes. They give you all the templates, and they have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week customer service line if you need help. And what I always like to do when we have somebody who has a product that's loved on our program, we don't want to read any sponsor messages, any partner messages for things that are not loved. The great part is a lot of my founders from my portfolio use AdRoll, so it's very easy for me to talk about their new product, SendRoll. James Heller, the founder of Rapify, which went through my incubator, says AdRoll is an integral part of our customer acquisition strategy. It allows us to continue to garner impressions long after the initial customer interaction. It's also one of the most cost-effective tools to bolster any integrated marketing strategy. AdRoll is the best retargeting platform, period. That's according to James Heller, good friend of mine and one of my investments at Rapify. So here's your call to action, everybody. Try SendRoll and get a $100 credit. Just go to adroll.com/twist, 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 and get that $100 credit. And please try that send roll and give them some feedback and let them know that Jason sent you. Okay, let's get back to this amazing program.